this is how our wedding was almost ruined.
Almost ruined, but it's still it happened.
We got married. Yay! Yes. We got married on September 4th, 2025 in the Italian Riviera, and it was pretty close to being damn near perfect.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I have chronic migraines now because of the stress of this wedding. Sleepless nights, stiff neck, bad sleeps.
Yeah, you already said that.
Sleepless nights, bad sleeps. Yeah, I'm still feeling it. So let's go.
If you guys want to see more content about our wedding and the wedding planning process, I made a playlist called Our Wedding, and you can see all the content about that. And our final wedding film will also be on that as well.
Stay tuned.
Even though our wedding was perfect in so many ways, and I can't stress this enough, we loved it. We had such a good time. I know you guys want the tea. That's why you're here. You want to know what went wrong.
And we'll tell you.
Oh, we'll tell you.
Because quite a few things went wrong.
Yeah, there were a lot of unforeseen issues that were impossible to plan for. But honestly, there was a bit of a theme for our wedding, and it should be a theme for your wedding if you're planning one. And that theme is, it all works out.
You have to repeat it, all right?
It
all works out.
It's fine. It's fine. So first things first, we're going to talk about the strike.
Oh my gosh.
The strike. One thing that we could have never predicted or prepared for was the airline strike.
And we're not disagreeing with what the flight attendants were fighting for. It was just an unfortunate situation.
Really bad timing.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, we did a destination wedding, which means we needed to get on a flight. Everyone attending the wedding needed to fly there.
And there are two major airlines that really function internationally in Toronto or in Canada.
Yeah.
That's Air Canada and WestJet.
Yeah, and Air Transat too.
And Air Transat. But I'm just saying there's
there's
two big airlines.
Yeah. Of all things to go wrong. So Air Canada, one of, if not one of the only providers for international flights, the flight attendants went on strike.
I have a friend who's a pilot for Air Canada. He was like, trust me, they'll negotiate. They'll find middle ground. We were like, it's okay. And then as it got closer and closer, it was slowly becoming a possible reality. And you know what the dates were of the potential strike? The days in which we were leaving. And a majority of our friends were leaving as well. Suffice to say, our blood pressure was high.
Yeah.
It was through the roof!
The contract between the airline and the flight attendants ended. So they were renegotiating the contracts, and Air Canada didn't want to budge, and they didn't want to give the flight attendants what they wanted. And so the result was they grounded all flights. All of them. There was no flight traffic from Air Canada.
At all.
Forget
for how many days was it? A few days?
It was a few days, yeah.
It wasn't even just people leaving Canada or Toronto. It was people stranded.
Yeah, people
I had
abroad.
A friend of ours had a wedding in Portugal, and she couldn't get home. She was stranded for an extra week. But what if you can't get time off work? You got to get back and you're just stranded.
It sucks.
You got to pay more for a hotel and everything.
All around, it sucks. And we also booked these flights a year in advance. So we hopped on that. We had these flights booked and ready to go.
Booked and cooked.
We were stressing so hard about this. I was checking the news pretty much every 5 minutes.
We kind of took turns having panic attacks, right?
Yeah,
you'd have one and I'd be like, it's okay. And then the next day I'd have one and then you'd be like, it's okay. And then one day we both have them and we're like, it's not okay.
I ended up having to tell everyone coming to our wedding to book backup flights, fully refundable, just in case. But so many people weren't able to do that.
Not to be morbid, I didn't want to say this to you at the time, but we would have lost over 20 to 30 guests.
No,
Had there been a strike, because we had a backup. We were lucky we had a backup. We probably would have lost 20 or 30 guests.
Yeah, my own brother wasn't going to be able to make my wedding because he couldn't put an extra flight on his credit card. My hair and makeup team that I was flying out from Canada, I had to book them backup flights. And it is what it is. I was able to do it. But the other thing that was happening is that when you were booking these backup flights, they were price gouging like crazy. The competitor airlines were price gouging up the butt.
Right up the stink star. And honestly, we're going to remember that.
Yeah, we are going to remember that. And by the way, when guests can't come to a wedding, it's kind of crappy for the bride and groom. You're not just bailing on a wedding as if you're not going to a party. Every guest costs money. You have to give vendors head counts for alcohol, for food, for chair rentals, the cutlery, everything is like a rental. You know what I mean? You're paying per person. So when that's 20 to 30% of your guests, you lose a lot of money.
Yeah. Destination weddings are tough because it can be expensive depending on where you're going and people have to take time off work and it just would have been a crappy situation. It was out of our friends' hands. You know, we couldn't be upset with them. We were just you can't be upset with, again,
we couldn't be upset at anything. It was just an unfortunate situation.
Jinx, Charlotte.
Furthermore, it really sucked for me to feel like I was inconveniencing people. Like this was already a huge ask, and I know having a destination wedding is a huge ask. I wanted to make it, this really wonderful experience for everybody. It was super important to me.
To see this place that we love.
To just have this experience with all the people we love most. And the thought of like inconveniencing my friends and family was really hard for me. Like I think I had like a couple of breakdowns.
A couple?
Yeah, a few. Like honestly, like I can count it on both hands probably.
Every day was different. You wake up and check the news, and was there a little bit of hope? We don't know. And then one day, we thought it was over.
Yeah, one day we thought it was over.
You came in the bedroom and woke me up, and you were like, ah! Yeah. And our dog, I felt like was depressed because we were depressed.
Yeah, he was.
And then the day that Charlotte like read that they had an agreement, he started like his energy changed. He was like, ah!
Yeah,
like
he had the zoomies like all day at like doggy daycare apparently. Like even our dog was stressed out about this.
Yeah. He hasn't recovered fully yet. He still has migraines too.
So it did affect one group of people that was coming to our wedding, and they ended up having to drive from Toronto to Detroit with 4 kids, luggage enough for like literally 3 weeks of travel. And they drove to Detroit to catch an international flight to go to Italy.
We wanted to pull up their flight. Listen to this travel, okay? With 4 kids. They had to drive to Detroit to Paris, Paris to Venice, Venice to the resort, which was like probably a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
Can you imagine with 4 kids?
With 4 kids and all that luggage, I can't even. The strike ended after about like 3 days of grounded flights, and obviously it took time to like get things back up and running. So we had our backup flights until pretty much the last second that you could have the backup flight before canceling it and being able to get your money back. It ended up being okay. Like you guys know me, I'm very type A. I plan everything to a T. This is not something that I could have planned for.
It was a good test though, right?
It was a good test. It
was a good lesson for us.
Yeah. And
us
it like
control freaks.
The travel issues honestly followed us around pretty much the whole summer. Like there was a strike in Italy as well, a transit strike.
We should tell them like, just we get to Italy, everyone finally makes it there.
Yeah.
And we find out that on the day 2 days after our wedding, when most people are leaving, there was a transit strike in Italy across the entire country. Yeah. And it's not just airlines, it's airlines, trains, all transit. And the funny thing too, it was like an arbitrary, like, we will strike for 4 hours.
Yeah, just 4 hours, like a nice little siesta.
They go to the beach, have some prosciutto melone, a cappuccino. Yeah. And then they go back to work.
Yeah, but that still screws over everybody that's flying and has connecting flights,
Which was crazy, so.
But again, everybody got there safely. Everyone got home safely. And remember, it all works out.
I got to tell them also, like, my mom flew home through Paris. She went to Paris for a couple nights. And there was a strike in Paris. And she had to change her flight. But what did we say?
It all works out. Because I don't want to focus entirely on the negative for this video, I thought it would be kind of nice to like insert just like a little short, nice story about what happened at the wedding. So do you want to tell them what you did for the first dance?
So when I was a wee bairn, I always had this dream of singing a song at my wedding for my wife. But when you have a destination wedding, it's kind of tough. You have to like bring a guitar or whatever. We didn't have like a live band. So I thought, what can I do? So I decided to write a song for Charlotte. My good friend August Jones, I went to his studio in Toronto. Shout out to him. He's the most talented guy I know. I came in there with an acoustic song. We spent like 4 hours. We recorded the guitar, vocals. We did a bunch of harmonies. And then he laid some like cool stuff on top. And I made her a song. It was for our first dance. And I didn't tell her.
No, he
didn't
tell
tell
me.
What if I learned being on this podcast, on this channel with you, is that you don't surprise the bride with things on the wedding day. So this whole time, there's this layer of like, am I shooting myself in the foot here? Am I starting this marriage on the wrong foot?
Yeah.
But then I figured like, whatever.
It ended up being honestly one of my favorite parts of the whole wedding. And, we initially were going to dance to, I think, Coldplay Sparks for our first dance.
Well, we moved it. Our first dance song was always going to be Sunday Kind of Love.
Yeah.
But I had a sneaky little plan because I know that's our song. So I was like,
why don't we put that song as our cake cutting song?
Yeah.
So that we got it.
Yeah.
And then I picked a song that we didn't choose before, which was Sparks by Coldplay.
Yeah.
Which is the song that I played during her proposal video. Mm-hmm. Like, it made sense.
Yeah.
And then we were walking down to do our first dance, and I was like, hey, so don't be mad, but I kind of like recorded you a song, and it's our first dance song.
It was honestly so precious, and like everybody was just crying, just so overwhelmed with how beautiful the gesture was. And yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to share like a really nice story, because I think that people might take this video as like us complaining. We had a beautiful wedding. Like, don't get it twisted. It was beautiful. But some things went wrong.
Me and August are talking about putting this out on Spotify, and maybe by the time this video goes up, it may be out. If it is,
we'll link it in the comments.
We'll link it in the comments. I might even put up a video with the lyrics so you guys can see.
Yeah.
My
it's
sweet
so
little
cute.
lyrics.
It's so precious.
It's so precious. And it is me singing, but God bless Autotune and August. I can't thank August Jones enough. August Jones.
The next story, because there were a few things that went wrong, I almost didn't make it down the aisle.
Yeah, that was like a bit of a problem.
Okay, but hold your horses, okay? I know your mind's going somewhere. Let me just elaborate
Cold
on
feet?
that statement. No. You guys know I hate being late. I don't like it when people are late. I don't like being late myself. So when I am late, there's something very, very wrong.
But you were late on the most important day. How dare you? You know what's funny?
I
Is
know
like
the
whenever
irony.
I'm late, from now on, I'll say, well, you were late on the wedding day.
Literally.
You were late on the aisle, the most important day we were not supposed to be late.
Literally. Okay, so let's backtrack here.
Oh,
So I had this idea that I wanted my dad to drive me to the aisle in this vintage Porsche. The first nice car my dad bought himself was a Porsche Boxster, and he used to drive me around with the top down, and like when I was a teenager and I would complain about boys. So it was like really this like full circle moment for him to then drive me up to my wedding in a vintage Porsche convertible.
Complaining about me.
No complaining. There was other complaining, but not complaining about Mike. So we discussed this whole plan with my wedding planner in advance, that I wanted my dad to drive me to the venue. Somehow the wires got crossed, and there was actually a professional driver that showed up to our hotel with the car to drive me to the venue. And the whole time I was just like, no, I'm adamant. I want my dad to drive me to the venue. Like, he was literally there. So my dad would have had to, no, it's not happening. It had to happen the way that I wanted it to happen. So the driver is obviously Italian, and he doesn't speak English, and him and my dad are kind of talking, and he's pretty insistent that he drives. It was a vintage Porsche that was manual, but like not your regular manual. You had to like press a button or whatever to like ignite the engine or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's just like a very old clutch. It was like
Very old.
it was like a, do you know what year? 50s maybe?
I have no idea. It was just vintage.
We'll put a photo of it right here. Or no, how about
Here.
right there?
Yes, exactly.
There.
So the driver gave my dad a quick like lesson on how to drive the Speedster. And then after my dad kind of got the hang of it, we had like a few minutes to spare. We actually left earlier than we needed to, and we started driving to the venue. We actually do have a video of that because our videographers put a GoPro on the car.
Shout out Plus Two Films.
Yeah, Plus Two Films. Love you guys. So we had been to the venue before. We went there, as you guys know, in like June. We did like the pick our venue with us. So we had been to the venue before. We had walked there, and it was only about a 10-minute walk from our hotel to the venue. And you're thinking, 10-minute walk must be a 2-minute drive, right? Wrong.
Italy!
Wrong. So it turns out that the way to drive to the venue was completely different than the way to walk to the venue.
The thing about it is Villa Dorazzo is in the center of the town, right? So like in the middle of the town, you can see it poking out. And it seems so close, but to get there is kind of like a maze.
I can literally show you guys.
So this is our hotel. And then you see how you drive, and you see how it stops right there and the venue is here. That's a hill, okay? That is a very big hill.
And you cannot drive a car on that hill.
No, you cannot do that. There's a entirely different way to drive to the venue, and we were not given the directions until we were in the car. So Google Maps is telling us to walk the rest of the way, and I'm like, hell no, am I walking to the venue? I'm literally in a wedding dress and heels, and like, I want my dad to drive me up to the venue. So we got lost. Like really, really, really lost for like 25 minutes. And we're trying to find the entrance of this venue. And I can literally hear the song we picked for Mike walking down the aisle, playing in the distance. And I'm not even at the venue yet. And why don't you tell them like what was going through your head?
Basically, I'm up there and I went up. I obviously drove over there by myself and I'm saying hi to people. Then I'm finally get told by the wedding planner that it's time to go. So I get arm in arm with my mom and I'm like, "Where's Charlotte?" And the wedding planner is like, "Don't worry, she'll be here soon." I don't know why I went. I don't know why I went like. I don't know. She was like, "Don't worry, like she'll be here soon. Just like she's coming, she's on her way. So just go down the aisle." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go. We're going." So our song's playing. My mom and I walk down the aisle. I get there. And it's hot too, right?
Yeah.
I get to the top of the aisle or like at the altar and I'm just standing there waiting. And my song plays and it finishes and no Charlotte. No Charlotte. And I know the sound of this old Porsche. It has like a guzzly end. It's like, so you can hear it coming, right? I was like, what's going on here? And then my song plays again. And I'm like, where is she? And the wedding planner in the distance is like panicking. I can see her. Everyone's looking at me. Everyone's turning around, sweating. It's so hot. And everyone's staring at me. And I'm like trying to like crack jokes awkward in front of everyone. I'm just like, where the hell is Charlotte?
Yeah. And everyone's like, is she coming? Like,
do we have a runaway bride?
Yeah, do we have a one? No, we don't. We didn't have a runaway bride.
A runaway bride.
A runaway bride.
No.
So meanwhile, I'm frantically on my phone. Thank God I brought my phone because in my mind I was like, I want to be so present. I don't want to have my phone. I brought my phone, okay? So I'm frantically texting my wedding planner, send me a pin, like send me like directions. I'm like panicking, sweating. My makeup is melting off. My dad's freaking out. And thankfully, my dad speaks Italian. We pull over and we ask a local for directions. And the local could definitely see how stressed out we were. So he gave us very, very clear directions on how to get to the venue. Finally, following the directions, we think that we might have found the venue, and one of our wedding planners has run outside. She's panicking, looking for us, and she directs us into the venue. At that moment, I was still just like a little scared because like I didn't know if this was the right way. There was still like this feeling of just like I'm still lost. And we're driving up to the venue. The top is down, and I'm just like overwhelmed with emotions because I can see like all my friends and family and they're all standing there waiting for me, and they all turn around. And I just have this like wave of relief. I don't know why I'm crying right now, but it was just like this really good feeling after just this panic, like complete and utter panic. I hate being late. Like, I hate it. It literally cripples me. I hate it so much. Oh my God. It was just like this feeling of like just such happiness and sweet relief. I was just like crying, and like everyone in the audience was crying and waving and smiling and laughing, and everyone's cheering as well because it's like, she's here.
Thank God she didn't run away. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're also, I mean, like we're pretty, you may call us a little type A, but we're also pretty chill. Like,
yeah,
it was
we're
pretty
pretty
fun.
chill.
It was pretty chill. Like, you showed up, it was fun, we did it.
Yeah.
You're honestly crying because you feel guilty that you're late.
I do feel guilty. It was literally the worst time to be late. And in hindsight, we could have rehearsed maybe the drive to the venue. I don't even know how we could have planned for that better, honestly.
What happens. It's
it is what it is. I didn't realize that the venue was so hard to find. It was supposed to be a 2-minute drive. Like,
no, but it's a great memory. It's a great memory.
It is a good memory. And again, what was the theme of the wedding? And for every wedding, it all works out. Okay.
Are we doing it like this or the claps? Moving on
to the next story. The roast.
Yeah.
Mike's family and his siblings have this tradition where they do like a wedding speech that's a roast for whoever is getting married. I had only seen the roast once before at Mike's brother James's wedding, and like it was bad. Don't get me wrong, it was very funny, but it was bad. The whole family is so naturally hilarious. Like every sibling has their own brand of funny. Like Randy's like mean funny, you're kind of like poop humor funny, Andrew's like intellectual funny.
Poop humor funny? What is that?
And Dave is shock value funny, okay? So that's important. I wasn't really all that nervous until while they were planning the roast, there were some jokes. There were some jokes that were being pitched that honestly, I really didn't want that. Like
they were left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, no, that was okay. Listen,
I caught wind.
To clarify here, I can take a joke, but being someone who's had a career making jokes, even ones, I know what to make a joke about and what not to make a joke about, and there are certain lines that you do not cross. I was hearing some of these proposed jokes, and I was like, that's gonna offend more than one person at the wedding, including me. And the last thing I want is to not only offend guests, but also for me or my husband to be upset at our wedding, which is supposed to be like the happiest day of our lives. I kind of discussed the potential for people being offended about the jokes with Mike's siblings. I also kind of added in the whole, like people who are watching this wedding from the outside, my subscribers and whoever is tuning into this there are some people who are hate watching, wanting to know if anything went wrong. And I have seen influencer weddings just absolutely just go off the rails. So I just really wanted to avoid that as much as possible. Imagine the backlash, right? The siblings then took the feedback and I thought it was fine until the day of the wedding. And Mike's brother Dave, remember, shock value Dave, says,
Listen, maybe don't film this, yeah?
Everybody, if you could please turn your phones off. No recording this. No social media posting, please. Thank you so much.
and in my head, I'm like, so wait, you're still gonna say the jokes, you just don't want evidence of them? I'm so nervous the whole time.
It's not as bad. It's worse.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, it was bad, but
It was horrible. It was obscuring.
It was horrible.
It was awesome. I don't know. I mean, like, I gave it to my brother pretty good last year.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it kind of what goes around comes around. You know what I mean?
Everyone was checking in on me after.
Yeah,
So like
everyone
I was
was.
laughing the whole time. Look, it's
Yeah.
all in good fun. It's all love. I can take a joke.
Everybody obviously loved it. There's photos of guests like crying, laughing, like massive grins on their faces. Like it was very funny,
It was very funny.
It
and
was
very
very
messed up.
funny,
Like my
but-
face hurt by the end.
but very bad.
But
very
very,
bad.
very savage.
After the roast, I needed a minute to do like a touch up because my hair and makeup team were leaving and it's taking a little longer than I wanted to. People are coming to me telling me that like Mike had to like take a minute to like walk away by himself and like eat gelato. And the whole time I'm just like, oh my God, like if he's upset, like, oh my God, just I don't want him to be upset on his wedding day. I'm very overstimulated. I feel like I'm gonna puke. Everybody's trying to talk to me, like make sure I'm okay. And I'm like, I literally just want to be alone right now. And everyone's fussing over me. It was a lot. I was very overstimulated. So finally it gets done. The hair and makeup is finished. And then I go downstairs to check on Mike and he's fine. He's literally fine. And I was panicking for no reason.
Nothing a cigarette and a Jameson can't fix, right? Even your mom came up to me. Remember?
Yeah, my mom came up to Mike.
There was a joke about how I'm almost something. Like I'm almost
I'm-
good.
I'm almost good.
successful.
The word that I thought best describes Mike is the word almost. Michael Ricci is almost Italian. He's almost a good actor. And finally, he's almost as much of a man as his older sister, Randy.
Charlotte's mom, Claudia, I love her to death. She comes up to me, holds my like face, and she goes, "You're not almost. You're not almost. You're perfect. And you are a success." And I was like, okay.
Aw, I love that so much.
How come you don't do that? Now you tell me I'm
I
almost.
did do that afterward. But remember, guys,
It all works out.
We have one more story about something that happened at our wedding that went wrong. Very wrong. I almost lost my wedding dress.
Well, that can't be good.
At the end of the night, I had changed into my second dress. I didn't want to wear my wedding dress all night. It was heavy and beaded, and I didn't want to ruin it.
And gorgeous. You are Mermaid Gatsby.
I had changed into my second dress, and it was the end of the night, and we are sauced. Like, we are hammered. Everyone at the wedding is just so far gone. And there's this big frenzy because we don't want the night to end. We're all having like a really, really good time. So after party?
After party? After party?
My good friends had rented like a villa up the mountain, kind of like a little far away from downtown. So I had arranged for a shuttle to take us, like go back and forth between the wedding venue and the villa.
A taxi, yeah.
Yeah, a taxi situation. So there's a big frenzy at the end of the night. Mike is holding our wedding cake, which we had planned to eat in the morning. I'm holding like a bunch of things, just trying to all leave the venue at once. And I had handed my wedding dress to someone who, I was so drunk at the time, I don't even know who it was.
It's not even that too. Like all day, for 2 days, 3 days, you're just so exhausted,
Yeah.
you're stimulated, and then finally you can kind of like let loose.
Yeah, a
we
little
were
bit.
so brain dead at that point.
So brain dead at that point. So I have my wedding dress in a bag and I hand it off to someone. That someone puts it in the back of the shuttle. We all get to the after party. We end up, staying out until like 5 a.m. and we decide it's time to call it. The sun's coming up at that point. Like, it was time to go home. I'm gathering all my stuff and I'm asking my friends, like, where is my wedding dress? And they're like, I don't know.
Oh my God.
I'm looking around for it, but I'm also so unbelievably exhausted. And I just kind of decide like, okay, this is a tomorrow problem. We realize that whoever I handed my wedding dress off to, they forgot to take it out of the trunk of the shuttle.
Oopsie.
So it was in a taxi somewhere. The next day we wake up and this like wave of anxiety hits me. And I realize like, holy shit, I don't know where my wedding dress is. So the bad, but also turns out good thing about where we got married is it's a very small town and there's not a lot of taxis. There's maybe what, like 4?
If that.
4 taxis with like WhatsApp numbers. The number of places where it could be was not a lot. So I'm texting all my friends, I'm texting my wedding planner, trying to get those numbers for the taxis. And all day, you know, I'm hearing about, you know, even more wedding drama that happened. And I'm just so overwhelmed with emotions because it's just like this huge high. And then all of a sudden you're like plummeting, right?
Yeah.
We finally get a response. One of the taxi drivers who knew where we were staying, he had dropped the dress off at our hotel at 9 in the morning and it was there literally all day and we had no idea. The driver knew who we were and he made sure we got the dress and that
God bless you.
God bless you, whoever you are. I still don't know who it was. We love you very much. You saved the day. And again, remember, it all works
Works out.
Subscribe!